Hi guys, and welcome to my latest video in which I pick the 23 best cars of 2020, including my best drives of the year. If there's one thing people came to realize again in this crazy year, it's that cars are good. If you're stuck in a pandemic and fear the public transport network is too risky to use, plus Ubers are icky because other people have been in there before you, coughing and breathing all over the upholstery, then guess what? It's great to have your own car. Acha, by the way, now do you see the benefits of having a decorative tissue box holder on the rear parcel shelf and wrapping everything in plastic like us Daisies? You see? We knew what we were up to. Whilst most industries suffered badly this year, supermarkets and used car dealers did okay because you gotta eat even when you're in a lockdown and you need a car to get to the shops, innit? Now, whilst used car sales till the end of Q3 of this year were down by 1 million, Q3 period sales alone were actually up by nearly 5% compared to last year. Yeah, they sold more used cars than last year. In the first 9 months of 2020, 5 million used cars were sold. That's only about 17% down compared to 2019. By comparison, new car sales were down by nearly 30%, although there's still around 1.5 million cars sold. In total, over 6.5 million cars found new homes this year. And in a year like this, that's something of a result. Ka-ching! And you know what? Even as car makers had to close factories, they still managed to reveal and release new concepts and brand new cars, some of which will hit our showrooms in 2021. So what stood out? Quite a lot actually. Here's my rundown of the most significant new stuff and why. But first, make sure that you're subscribing to youtube.com/browncarguy and be sure to hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any videos like this. Also subscribe to browncarguy.com and don't forget to follow me on all the major social media channels. Just search for my hashtag, it's on my hat, #browncarguy. Want to get your name into my videos? Then sponsor my content at patreon.com/Shazad Sheikh from as little as $2 a month. The link is below in the description and I'll tell you more about that at the end of the video. Right, let's get into this. So first up, the award for a car that does the best impression of another car. It's the ineosgrenadier. Many people say this is what Land Rover's brand new Defender should have been like, staying true to its classic looks and utilitarian body-on-frame construction. To an extent, I found myself agreeing. Then I drove the new Defender and changed my mind, but more about that later. Nonetheless, the new Landy does appear to have left a gap in the market. So in stepped the ineosgrenadier, continuing the philosophy and ethos of the old Defender, but with a better drivetrain, tech and an interior. All of that is promised. The car is not out yet, but hopefully next year. I did a walk around video of one. Check out that link in the description below. Next, the award for the cutest EV electric vehicle that should be brilliant. And that goes to the 2021 Fiat 500. The Fiat 500 has always been adorable. The canvas top is a favorite of mine and the hardcore Abarth is hilarious fun. For 2021, it's going full electric, and there's even going to be one with a tiny rear suicide door. Can it get any cuter? Break out the stick-on giant eyelashes. If there's one car that should work as a city swinging EV, this should be it. I can't wait to try it. Now the award for the car so ugly, I fell off my chair. The Ram is a great truck. The current edition is the best in the lineage with an astonishingly smart interior. I reviewed it for Motoring Middle East before I moved back to the UK and I loved it. So you might then think that an Italian design house reimagining it as a limousine would be utter brilliance. However, the results look like a Bentley Bentayga shagged the Lady Penelope's Rolls Royce and the DNA didn't quite take. The hideous devil spawn of an automobile that resulted has a pull-out drawer for a boot. Frankly, just buy a Ram and use it to ram this thing off the road. Brown Car Guy does not condone or encourage any kind of reckless or irresponsible driving whatsoever. but if you couldn't help yourself. Next up is the award for Best One-Off and Most Macho Car of the Modern Era. It is, of course, the Aston Martin Victor. Now, this came out of nowhere and stole all the headlines at the Concourse of Elegance at Hampton Court in London. It's a highly bespoke one-off modelled on the Medallion Man machismo of a 1970s Aston Martin Vantage. It is gobsmackingly handsome and desirable. This from a manufacturer that already makes some of the best looking motors in the world. Nothing could be faulted on this car except for one thing. There's only going to be one made, and that sucks. You know, if John Shaft was James Bond, he'd drive this, the MFV. Damn, can you dig? Oh, by the way, walk around video, link below. Yeah, this car. The next award is for blasphemy. No, I mean, it's for a concept car that thinks it's a Porsche and has the most grandiose name ever, the Hyundai Prophecy. This is what the Taycan should have looked like. A stretch futuristic 911 with a retro rear featuring an extraordinary camback kind of grille, and the only thing missing from the front are round headlights. Inside, it's totally not like a 911 at all. In fact, there isn't even a steering wheel. It imagines a future in which the car not only looks good, but is aware that it looks good because AI in it. In fact, it ends up so paranoid of you scratching or dinging its exquisite exterior that it'll drive itself, thank you very much. But if you really must have a go, how tedious, then you can have a couple of joysticks like a pilot. So, a future where a Korean car is sexier than anything from Germany and where autonomous cars make us feel like we're flying. No wonder it's called nothing less than the Prophecy. Award for Suck on That Bugatti, a high-speed achievement, or let's just say the fastest bloody car on the planet. It's the SSC Tuatara, if that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but I hope that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, on 10th of October 2020, the SSC Tuatara reached over 330 miles per hour, nearly 533 kilometers per hour on a 7-mile stretch of closed road outside Las Vegas, driven by Brit Oliver Webb. There's some dispute as to the authenticity of the stated claim, and SSC has said they will run it again. But you know what? I believe them. Just standing still, it looks like it's doing 1,000,000 miles per hour. 1,750 brake horsepower for 1.6 million from a small car maker that made the Bugatti Chiron look like a Nissan Micra in reverse gear. When it comes to speed, Speed Wars, I think it's a clear winner. It is awesome. Award for the most pretentiously unpretentious luxury car, the Rolls-Royce Ghost. They call it post-opulence, a new Rolls-Royce Ghost, whilst being more Rolls-Royce than ever thanks to being based now on the same all-aluminium and all-bespoke chassis of the phantasmagorical Phantom, rather than being based on the BMW 7 Series, that is like it used to be. And yet, apparently, it's toned down, focusing on engineering dynamism rather than overt extravagance. That's what Rolls-Royce says. Yeah, right, is what I say. You say that, Royce, but then you go and put the Cosmos in the dashboard. Like literally, sit up front and you'll have stars in your eyes. I gotta admit though, the new Ghost is utterly magnificent. Award for probably being the best new hot hatches around, the Volkswagen Golf GTI Club Sport and Golf R. My last favorite Golf was the previous GTI Club Sport. Note, not the GTI. I found that a little too tame, but the Club Sport, it had a wildness that sometimes filtered out of the GTI. To me, hot hatches need to be a little bit nuts and yet utterly justifiable as daily drivers. You can be Mr. Sensible dropping the kids to school 1 minute and the next get all fast and furious, smoke him, and turn into, I reckon I could take that Ferrari, a kind of street racing hooligan. That's why I rate the Honda Civic Type R as the current king of the genre. But if anything can usurp it, I think it's this pair from Volkswagen. I'm looking forward to seeing if that's true next year. Award for Best Daily Driver Supercar that people think is a Ferrari. It is, of course, the Chevrolet Corvette C8. Someone actually replaced the badges on their all-new mid-engined Chevrolet Corvette C8 with Ferrari badges. And most non-car people wouldn't have noticed anything. They have just accepted it as another legit supercar from the land of the prancing horse in Italy rather than a Detroit beefcake from the land of the muscle car. Now, Chevy knows how to make a Corvette handle. I know this because I've driven virtually most generations of modern Vettes, and Chevrolet knows performance, believe you me. And this will deliver all of that. Plus, it looks the part at a quarter of the price. Outstanding. Award for most bonkers EV, electric vehicle, it is the Hummer EV. Honestly, I was never really a huge Hummer fan, apart from my respect for the awesome original military Humvee that spawned the road-going versions. But if it was good enough for the Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger, it was bound to be back. See what I did there? Okay, I wasn't initially wildly ecstatic about the revival of the brand either, even less so when I heard it would be an electric vehicle. Then I saw it. It looks awesome. And then I read the stats, 1,000 horsepower and 11,500 pounds-foot of torque, 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3 seconds and a 350 mile range. You know, if ever the earth stopped rotating, just one of these alone would probably have enough torque to restart it. Damn, could I be lusting after an EV after all? Oh, and you just know it's going to be perfect for the former Governator himself, right? Award for the best new car that everyone thinks is an old car. It's the Morgan Plus 4. I always thought I was a Caterham 7 sort of guy. I mean, honestly, there isn't a purer, less distilled driving experience available for the road. Then I drove a Morgan for the first time a few years ago. Now with a Caterham, you're in race driving mode the whole time. It's almost like you need to be wearing driving Pumas and a helmet. You're very serious behind the wheel and then you stall it and everyone points at you and laughs. However, if you stall in a Morgan, just look all hapless, grin and shrug jovially, and then everyone laughs with you. Far from being an old fart's flat cap and tweed jacket special, the Morgan oozes charisma. It's glamorous and it's both challenging and invigorating to drive. And what's wrong if you want to wear some string-back driving gloves, some goggles, leather helmet, a fluttering neck scarf behind the wheel? I mean, I would. Oh, and a Sherlock pipe. Don't light it, just for the look. Best thing of all, it's like having a classic car you can thrash the crap out of. You don't have to be delicate with it because it's all modern engineering. For the racetrack, take the Caterham 7, but for the road, you need a Morgan. And now there's a new one, all new, all modern drivetrain, all classic cool to behold, but you can't even tell it's new. I would so totally have one. Award for the best hypercar that will still have a manual transmission. It is, of course, Gordon Murray Automotive's T50. I interviewed the legend that is Professor Gordon Murray about his new true successor to the iconic McLaren F1, the forthcoming T50, that's T.50, earlier this year, and a link to that video will be in the description below. Now, this hypercar features a bespoke V12 that revs to heaven, a short shift manual that thumbs its nose at every other supercar, butterfly doors, and a huge signature fan on the back that defies the laws of aerodynamics. It is genius. It will be a standout chapter in automotive history for sure, and it could be the last pure supercar. I actually lie in bed and cry at night when I realize that the chances of me ever getting to drive one of these is akin to finding a coronavirus-proof face mask that doesn't fog up my glasses. Award for best new retro cool car, the all-new Ford Bronco. The FJ Cruiser is dead, and the Toyota Land Cruiser and Nissan Patrol have become too plush and posh to really bounce around in off-road. The Land Rover Defender has been reinvented, and while it's still just as supreme off-road, it's now far too precious to sully in the dirt, don't you think, especially if you just bought one? So then you're left with the Jeep Wrangler. Then, you know, if you really want a real hardcore off-roader at accessible money, and that is a terrific car, I really rate them. But Ford has come back with a response. The rebirth of the Ford Bronco is everything it should be. Instantly desirable retro styling, thoroughly modern tech, and proven Ranger pickup drivetrain. Now, what's not to like about it? Well, the fact that it's not coming to Europe anytime soon. That reminds me, I have to go start that petition. Award for being as sexy as Sophia Loren. Of course, it's the ferrariroma. Sultry come-hither gaze, voluptuous curves and sumptuous hips. I'm not talking a cinema sex siren, but the Sophia Loren of supercars, the ferrariroma. With this latest supercar, the Italian marque proved it still knows how to do knuckle-bitingly seductive. While the F8 and SF90 chase lap times, the Roma seeks carnal conquest? I mean, just look at it. How is it even allowed to roam around on public roads without an X certificate? And who cares how it drives, which it probably does very well, being based on the enhanced version of the current Portofino. Itself a big return to form after the too soft original California. So, is the Roma the current prettiest car in the world? Well, would you have naughty thoughts about it? Then heck yeah. Award for most surprising new car that I badly want to drive more than I'd have ever expected. The Toyota Yaris GR. The Yaris has always been a great car, but no one ever notices it. Looks like Toyota got a bit fed up with that, so they took its latest version of the super-selling Super Mini and pumped it full of automotive steroids. It's longer, wider, lower, lighter, with a heavily modified chassis. There are no rear doors. It gets a 257 brake horsepower turbo 3-cylinder, intelligent torque 4-wheel drive system, and it's mated to a 6-speed manual, joy of joys. Prices start at under £30,000. It's like a pocket rocket rally car for the road. Remember what I said earlier about those Volkswagens being potentially the best new hot hatches? I think I just changed my mind. Anyway, so that was all the new stuff this year had to offer. What about the cars that I actually reviewed myself this year? Well, here are my favorites, and I'll put the video links for each of these in the description below so you can watch the full reviews. Award for being the best in mud or motorways, the Land Rover Defender 90. Confession time, I was ready to hate this car. Overblown fakester that's evolved too far from the original Defender's remit, abandoning the traditional looks for plastic, fantastic futurism, plus surely it's too big and too expensive. Then I finally drove one, on road and off it, in deep muddy bogs that would swallow smart cars whole. I kind of rallied it on a dirt track, I cruised serenely up the motorway in utter refinement, and I chucked it around on some back roads, which it managed surprisingly well. I even got to drive an actual Defender 110 stunt car that is going to be used in the next Bond movie. Has been used, it's been filmed. And I don't just mean drive, I mean actually push it to its and to my limits. It was hilarious and amazing. Yes, there is a video and the link will be below. There's no question the new Defender is brilliant, though I still maintain that it's more of a true successor to the original Land Rover Discovery than the previous Defender. Award for being the best compact family SUV, the new Ford Puma. Based on the Ford Fiesta, this compact SUV is just as sharp to drive, retains a thread of sporting DNA from the Puma of old, and offers cuddly good looks, city slicking style, agility, friendly practicality, and great value. Few small cars can marry good looks, usability, enjoyable dynamism, along with SUV level driving height, as well as this little offering from Ford. Plus it's a mild hybrid, so it's relatively thrifty and clean, and it comes with a sweet manual gearbox. It's so good that, being a London dweller myself, it's a possible shortlister for a future Sheikh family car. Award for being the most futuristic new car with an aquarium in the dashboard, the Honda E. Unlike the Land Rover Defender, with this new car, I started out wanting to love this baby electric Honda even before I'd driven it. I've simply adored its first-gen Civic-inspired styling since it was revealed in concept guise. It's the first all-electric car that had me salivating in expectation. Finally meeting the car and driving it, thankfully, did not disappoint, for the most part. It's fun to drive, usable enough around town, packed with giddy gadgets, turns more heads than the McLaren will, and generally just makes you deliriously happy. Plus, it has a virtual aquarium in the dashboard. I mean, who even thought of that? And what were they smoking? And can I have some? Okay, so serious questions remain over its driving range and high price, but what a thing. Award for being the most fun compact SUV that's perfect for the urban jungle, the Suzuki Jimny. The first time I had a brief run in a Suzuki Jimny was on a fast B road, and like most body-on-frame four-wheel drive cars that are properly set up for off-roading, it proved a little wayward. Thankfully, I was able to do a full review later on over several days, and I promptly fell in love. In fact, it's another one for the Shake shortlist. Well, it would be if they introduced a slightly longer wheelbase four-door version. Now that would be perfect. Oh, and of course if it was still on sale, because unfortunately it's not due to draconian emissions regulations. That sucks. Which is tragic, because this little Suzuki is charismatic, cool, competent and fun. I love it. Award for the sportiest car with a price, practicality and poise you can easily justify. It is of course the Ford Fiesta ST. Talking of fun, last year my favorite hot hatch drive was the Honda Civic Type R, and this year it was the Ford Fiesta ST at nearly 10 grand less. There is just nothing to touch it for dynamic ability, driver satisfaction, affordability and practicality. It even puts its bigger brother, the Focus ST, in the shade. I would totally have one. And in fact, the actual car that I tested recently went on sale for under 20k. Tempting! Award for being the best hatchback with a supercar style dashboard, the Peugeot 208. The next-gen digital dash on the new Peugeot 208 alone makes this car worth the asking price. I mean, a 3D holographic display is the stuff of Star Trek, and I'm a bit of a Trekkie, as you can see. Then you have that extraordinarily styled and trimmed dashboard that honestly looks like it belongs in a Lamborghini, not a Super Mini. You really feel special in this car. Plus it looks sweet, it's fun to pedal, and it's remarkably capacious for what it is. The top-selling Vauxhall Corsa is based on this car. Top tip, buy the Peugeot. It's fancier. Award for best electric car that has soul. Why, it's the Kia Soul, of course. Yes, it's electric, but has it got soul is the question we asked when we reviewed the new Kia Soul. Yes, it does, we concluded. Primarily because we played a lot of soul and funk in the car and really got into the groove with this thing, though that video did prove beyond any doubt that the brown car guy can do a lot of things, but he cannot dance. Hang my head in shame. Still, the Kia is surprisingly quick and entertaining to drive, with quirky but smooth and standout styling, great space and accommodation, and of course a terrific stereo to keep you bopping. It's probably the first electric car that I drove which got me thinking, maybe EVs aren't so bad after all, and for that alone it deserves some kudos. Award for being the coolest car of all and the car I didn't want to give back, ever, the Ford Mustang Bullet Edition. I want one. Need I say more? I proclaim this the coolest car on the planet that you can currently buy brand new, and I stand by that. It drips charisma, it oozes magnetism, and it encapsulates cool. It is lit, it is dope, it is sick. Just choose and insert your slang word of choice there. It turns heads, it grabs attention, it makes friends. Honestly, more people commented on this car than any other I've had this year, except maybe the Honda E. Unlike the E though, the Bullet wakes up the neighbors when you start it in the morning. You feel like Steve McQueen or just about any action hero behind the wheel of it. All the performance you'll ever really need is on tap. It handles way better than everyone claims, just don't listen to them. And you know, the wheels, the color, the blanked out grille are all sublimely alluring, and you just want to drive around all the time in a roll neck, constantly checking your mirror for black Dodge Chargers with that theme tune playing. Plus, all this movie star magnetism for around £45,000? Believe me, it's cheap for how this car makes you feel. I really didn't want to give the keys back on this one. Okay, that's me done. Now share your favorite cars and driving experiences of 2020 in the comments below. And once you've done that, make sure that you're subscribing to youtube.com/browncarguy. Make sure that you hit that bell notification icon to ensure you don't miss any cool videos like this. Also, subscribe to my blog browncarguy.com, and follow me on social media channels. Just search for my hashtag #browncarguy. That's on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. If you enjoy my content, then please think about sponsoring it at patreon.com/Shazad Sheikh, and your name and even your company URL could appear here, along with Mohamed Ali Humaid, Partha, find him on parthans.com, Tom Conway-Gordon, these are my top supporters. And then there's Reza Adil, find him on Instagram at alizade.cigars. He's all about the cigars. There's Muhammad Qasim, a small business advisor and consultant, and you can find him at wehms.com. And of course, Siraj Abbasi, check out the super posh tiling and flooring that he does over at virtuosodesign.london. Please join them at patreon.com/Shazad Sheikh. Link is below. And you can do that from as little as £2 a month. If you can't do it, no worries. Just please continue to like, comment, share, and of course, you're already subscribing, right? And you know what? Tell all your friends to do the same. All the best for this holiday season to all of you out there, and here's wishing you a happy, healthy, and far, far, far better 2021. See you again soon in the next video.